Hi, and welcome back, you beautiful souls, to the new part in my villain Deku. So, where we last left off, Dabi had asked Deku what the next step is, boss. So Izuku spends like the next 30 minutes to an hour explaining to Dabi that they're going to train for a bit so that he can get a handle on his quirk. Because what Izuku did, he didn't give him back his quirk, he gave him a portion of the quirk that he made by compacting Dabi's quirk onto the quirk that he made with Endeavors. Basically giving him blue flame, but also giving him the minor resistance to the quirk as well. And he explains to Dabi, well, what I did, it weakened you for a while. And, well, we need to train. And, well, you're here so I can pick you're going to spend the next 6 months training with me. And then he turns to Toga, and he's like, Toga, begin preparations for part 2 of the plan. And Toga looks at him and says, okay, boss. And she walks out of the room. And Dabi's like looking, asking, he's like, what was that about? And he turns to Dabi. He's like, it's not important. Let's just say you won't be seeing too much of her around, like, over the next 6 months. But you will, if everything goes to plan, she should join us for some training with 2 months to spare for 6 months. So Deku and Dabi begin to train with their train with the quirks, and Dabi gets back up to his potency because I would say a couple of weeks in, he realizes what Deku said, that his quirk was weakened with what he did, not knowing exactly that Dabi didn't get his exact quirk back, but one that was very, very close to it. And he's just amazed at what Deku can do and how he's actually treating it. He thought he would treat him more as like a minion, but he's been treating him more as someone that is, in Dabi's mind, viewed as an equal. But that's not the case. Deku's just doing this to kind of psychologically manipulate Dabi into a position that he has Toga in. And then he tells Dabi he's going to disappear he's going to drop Dabi off somewhere, and he needs to disappear and hide. So, oh my god, okay, what I'm about to do is something I've been I made hints about, with Deku being able to go in and out of shadows of places that he's already been, and also a little something. So Dabi's like, what is this about, boss? And Izuku's like, well, I haven't shown you this, but I want you to try to hide from me, just so I can prove a point to you, because it seems like you're a little weary of me still, or you don't entirely trust me. And, well, past 3.5 months, I've shown you a lot of my abilities, and you know one of my biggest secrets. And he looks at Dabi and if you ever tell anyone that I can remove quirks and give people quirks, let's just say it's not going to turn out well for you. And this scares Dabi, and Izuku basically puts his hand on his shoulders and teleports him to a city. And he's like, you have a day. And mind you, this day, hide as good as you can. So Dobby does, he goes to the other side of the city, and he's been very careful about being followed. And this is when Dobby basically uses a burner phone saying that I'm ready, and then he destroys it and he books it away from where he was, basically hiding again. And then Deku says, as Dobby turns around a corner, Dobby hears a voice from behind him. He's like, you're trying to hide? Didn't I tell you I can find you wherever you go? And Dobby turns around shocked as he sees Deku rising out of a shadow. And he's like, wow, I was thinking that was just a bluff, but it seems like you can find me. And Deku's like, yeah. Now, come over here. Basically lifting his hand up and pulling Dobby towards him. And Dobby's a little freaked out about it. He's like, it's fine. There's someone back at the hideout waiting for us. And Dobby and him just disappear into a shadow and come back up. And Toga is standing there. And Dobby's like, so what has she been up to? And Deku says, again, that's on a need-to-know basis. And right now, you don't need to know. And he turns to Toga and he's like, so I guess you got it then. And Toga's like, yeah, it was fucking rough as hell to get that. And Dobby's looking at Izuku and Toga, and they begin to kind of laugh. And Izuku's like, so and Toga says, you really got it, man. And Toga's like, yeah, this is going to be fun. Well, go put it on ice. So Toga walks out of the room, and this is when Izuku ushers Dobby to sit down in a chair. And he explains his plan to go after Deku's father. And Izuku will work on setting up to where Dobby can take out Endeavor with his own hands. Dobby agrees to this, and then he says, okay, boss, what do I need to do on my end? And Deku says, well, I'm going to drop you off and make a name for yourself. One day, not a lot of people know who my father is, but from what I've been researching, in the hands I've had out over the past several years, I've learned that he has an organization. And well, I need you to infiltrate this organization. And anything that you think would be pertinent, let me know. Basically, the signal would be you would shoot some blue flame up in the city, into the sky, and I will know what it is. But be creative with it. Don't make it obvious. If you have to, kill a pro or something. And Deku begins to laugh as he stands up and walks over to Dobby. And he teleports, basically walking through shadows, him and Dobby to, a city. And he says, oh, and Dobby, one more thing. If you accomplish your goal, I will hand Endeavor to you on a silver platter to do what you see fit with him. smiling at Dobby. And then Dobby smiles back, and it's like, guess I'll be seeing you later, boss. And Deku grins, and he's like, yeah, I'll check in on you in a year to see how things are going. In any case, I have some things I need to take care of. So this is right at the 6-month mark when Deku said the training would be complete, and it is. Dobby's back up to his former strength, albeit he can't go 100% with his power, but he can still hold blue flames and it not burn him. Basically, Dobby is at an echelon of heat and flame that he can tap into like an almost hotter flame than blue. But he can't hold it at that high degree without causing burns to himself. Like, he does have some resistance to his flame now, but it's not 100% resistance. But he learned through the training that he had with Deku that he can eventually, he can increase his heat resistance with training. So we cut back over to the hideout, and Deku walks through a shadow, and he's like, so the guy, did you find him? And Toga's like, I didn't find him, but I did get the blood from, what was his name again? I forget. But I did get samples of the people that you asked for. And it's just like, they're on ice, right? And Toga's like, yeah, but I'm not with my quirk now. It shouldn't be an issue. As long as it's their blood, it doesn't have to be fresh. And Deku begins to smile. And he's happy. He's like, so it's a matter of a waiting game now. And Toga asks him, he's like, Izu, like, and Deku looks at her, and she's like, oh, I'm sorry. And Deku's like, oh, no, it's fine. It's just, you never call me Izu. Like, and she's like, well, well, and Izuku smiles, and he's like, so what's the first name? And Togi's like, well, and Deku smiles, walks over to her, and gives her a kiss on the forehead. And she looks at him and begins to blush. And she's like, what's that about? And Izuku smiles, and it's like, you know what it's about. You think I haven't been catching the hints that you've been laying on over these years? You like me more than a friend, don't you? And Toga, like, grins, and it's like, yeah, but it doesn't seem like you like me. And Izuku's like, well... And this is when Izuku does something that Toga has never seen before. She just hears Izuku say, Shadow Veil. And the entire room turns to dark. And he looks at Toga, and he's like... And Toga's creep is freaking out. It's like, I didn't mean anything, boss. I didn't want it. Don't take my quirk away. Don't kill me. And Izuku smiles. It's like, Toga... I'm not going to take your quirk. You're still useful for me. But there's things I want to tell you that I haven't told anyone else. And Toga comes down, and she's like, what's all this about? And Izuku's like, well, this is the only way that I know that we won't be interrupted. And that no one else will hear. So the bit of information I'm about to say, if I hear anyone else speak about it, I know where it came from. And Toga kind of gulps. Does like, And he's like, just calm down and sit down. We have a lot to talk about. So, during this conversation, Izuku tells her that since last year, he has been kind of starting to feel something for her. And he explains that he kind of manipulated her into trusting him. And Toga's like, "But what?" And he's looking at her. If you have a problem, do you have a problem with that? And Toga's like, "Yeah, I do. You could have just told me what you were planning on doing. You could have skipped all this, boss. I'm never." And he looks at her and he's like, "What's with the boss?" And she's like, "What's with the boss?" And she's like, "Izuku, she's like, I'm boss. Izuku smiles at her and he's like, "When we're in here, you can call me whatever you want." But he looks down and he's like, "It's been rough. I've been keeping all this up. And well, I want you to feel comfortable around me, Toga. One of the few people that you've been with me for like the past 3.5 years. And you've proven yourself to me. And well, lately, I've been kind of finding myself liking you more as just a pawn. Starting to find you more and more as a friend. And possibly something more. I won't be able to reciprocate the feelings you have for me, Toga dear, but you're different. Not like other people. And I kind of like that." And Toga smiles, and she's like, "That's kind of why I like you, sir." And Izuku's like, "Sir?" And Toga looks down and it's like, "So, Izuku, what exactly is it?" And he's like, "Well, there's some things we have to do. The blood samples you got, they are, what you've probably already surmised, are from officials. And well, we're going to use that to kind of blackmail them. You see this building? We own it now. And well, this district, this area, this neighborhood, it's gone to shit over the years because pros have fucking abandoned it. There's kids getting hurt in the fucking streets. There's, as he spits on the ground, and Toga sees where he spits, and she realizes there's fucking people like that here too. And the law and the freaking pros just turn a damn blind eye to it. Like they turned a blind eye to me. And Toga's like, "So, what's the plan exactly?" "Well, while we have Dabi doing the little project with my father, me and you, we're gonna crack some fucking skulls in this area." And Toga begins to laugh. She's like, "What, we're gonna take some people out?" And Izuku's like, "Yeah, but..." He looks at her and gives her like the death glare seriousness. "We're not going to be killing unless it's like that dirt bag I found 6 months ago." And Toga smiles and she's like, "Oh, so Mr. Reaper wants to do some vigilante work," kind of chuckling. And Izuku smiles and he's like, "Yeah, that's exactly my plan. And who knows, maybe we can come across some good quirks on the way. That'll be useful." And Toga is smiling at this. So Ezekiel and Toga began doing vigilante work, and so now we're going to skip a year and a half. Basically, the start of the anime. And I believe this is on 20 parts, so yeah, I have enough time to do the sludge fill-in. If not, I will do that in the next part, or I'll get to it and then cover it more in depth afterwards. So, Toga and Izuku over the past year have gotten a name for themselves. Basically, the Shadows. Because no one knows who's doing this. No one knows what's going on. Because in the underworld, there are people that have tried to get in contact with Reaper, but no one tries to do that anymore because everyone that has turned up dead. And while the pros in the recent vigilante work that's been happening, they don't know what's going on because they can never catch who's doing it. Basically, the person's standing there one moment, and then they're somewhere else, strung up on a light pole or something. There is one pro that has caught an image of what had happened because he just happened to be there when it was going down. And before he can catch the guy, he disappeared. And he's thinking, damn, fucking missed him again. He's offering this area. I knew it. And so, Izuku, he's been taking a few people out. There's a few missing people's reports that have come in, and nothing really pans out. One moment, I have someone knocking at my door. Sorry about that. So basically, the pro, he's tried to catch him, but he's been unsuccessful. So we're at 6 months before the anime, and Deku and Toga is just looking at Deku one night, and Deku looks at her and she looks away, and then Deku looks back down, and she looks back, and Deku looks back at her, and she goes to look away, but then Deku grabs her face, turning it back to her. And he's like, do I have something on my face? And Toga's like, no, well, you look really cute. And Deku smiles, and then he does something that freaks Toga out. He kisses her. And she's like, what was that for? What are you trying to pull with this? What kind of game are you playing? And Izuku kind of starts laughing. And it's like, I thought you might want to kiss me, so I just kissed you. And Toga begins to blush. She's like, that's besides the point. Back to what we were doing. So Izuku and Toga had been tracking down someone. And over the past, 4 years? 14? Yeah, 4 years. He has really come to like Toga, but it's weird. Like, they don't date, but anybody who sees them interact with each other, they're like, yeah, those two are together. They're a thing, in quotation marks. And so Toga asks, like, so, who is this guy? What has he done? And Izuku's like, he hasn't done anything. It's more so, he's a local business owner, and, well, his business hasn't been doing well. So why have we been following him for the past month then? And Izuku turns to her, and it's like, it's part of the other portion of my plan to fuck with my dad. He has a thing against heroes. It's more like he wants Hero Society to end. And Toga's like kind of starts laughing, but isn't that what you want to do? And he's like, Deku says, well, no, like, we do need a Hero Society, but it's fucking corrupted. This guy, in any case, it'll all make sense. As he puts a hand on her shoulder and teleports them down to the street side. And he says, Sir, and the guy freaks out because he just sees this figure cloaked in shadow. And Izuku steps out with his hair. I would say he's going for blonde and black eye color this time. And he's like, oh, I'm sorry, sir. I didn't mean to. What do you want? Are you gonna rob me, kid? And Izuku's like, oh, no, you're mistaken, sir. I had a business proposition for you. And the man weirdly looks at this kid. It's like, what business do you have with me? And Izuku's like, well, I know you work with buildings and stuff, right? I've been following you. And Izuku says, you're probably wondering who I am. Well, you see, I'm the guy that's been buying up property in that neighborhood. And, well, my guardian has suggested that I make a few legitimate businesses to make money properly. And the guy's like freaking out. It's like, you're a villain. And Mizuka's like, oh, I'm no villain, but I'm also no hero. In any case, I'll be having some people contact you. I've been following you for the past several days. And the guy's like, so you're the one that's been following me. And Izuku smiles, and he's like, yes, sir, my apologies about that, but before I do business with people, I need to know what kind of person they are. And, well, sir, I've come to find that you're a good person. And don't worry, what you'll be doing is not illegal. And I didn't acquire those properties illegal. I just bought foreclosed properties, and, well, it's time for me to start getting them developed. I'm a businessman, and this little meeting never happened. And if it does, well, like you said, and like I said, I'm no villain, but I'm also no hero. And I can get my hands dirty and feel no qualms about it. So you really are a villain. And he's like, no, not really. But again, my lawyers will be contacting you, sir. Have a nice day. And Izuku steps back into the shadow, placing his hand back on Toga and taking him back up to the roof. And Toga's like, are you serious? You've been following this guy to see what kind of person he is? And then Izuku, they hear commotion down below, and they see, like, stuff kind of dropping. And Izuku sees a little girl, like a girl, And he's like, oh, this kid has that quirk. Interesting. Toga, can you keep an eye on her? And Toga's like, you want me to take her out? And Izuku's like, no, just keep an eye on her. I have a feeling about her. So, that being said, we cut to the start of the anime. Let's see, 14 minutes plus 20, that puts me at 34. Yes, I have enough time to cover the sludge villain attack. So we cut to 6 months later. Some of the businesses Izuku had bought up, the whole district has over the past 6 months has been getting revitalized. And everyone, news and everyone is trying to figure out who's the man behind the corporation that has pumped billions into the area. And let's just say Izuku has gotten a call from a few people that know who he is, confirming, and he's told Boss Hiyazaki that he is out of the organization before, but a few of his associates, people that directly reported to him, know him, and Izuku has told them that because one of them called him up, and explained that Boss needed to see him, and Izuku told him, kind of pissed off, I'm going to legit. I'm no longer get in the assassination game. You guys have a nice day, and, well, one day, if you guys keep bothering me, you're gonna piss me off enough to where I'm gonna bring you down. Click. So this is the start of the anime. And, well, Izuku is getting dressed, and he walks out of his room, and Toga's sitting there waiting for him, kind of smiling, and he looks at her and is like, what are you smiling at? And she's like, oh, well, we're going out today. And Izuku's like, why are you smiling about that? We do this all the time. And Toga's like, well, we never go out in the day. I thought this was... And she looks down and she's like, damn, I'm such a fool. And Izuku lifts her head up and then actually gives her a proper kiss. And he's like, so you figured it out. Well, I guess it's not... Toga, yeah, this is a date. I've been kind of planning this for a while, but we're gonna go quirk hunting. And Toga brightens up and was like, we're going quirk hunting? Wait, what's that about? And she's like, wait, you plan on... And Izuku smiles, she's like, yeah, if we find something that you like, let's just say I'll try to get it for you. And gives her a kiss on the forehead. And he's like, so shall we get going on our date? Kind of laughing at this. And she's like, yeah. So they spend the day walking around the city, kind of actually having a good time. People kind of look at these two because they kind of laugh at some weird shit, and some of the things some people have heard them talking about has kind of creeped them out, because they're talking about blood and everything. It's not normal, but whatever. You have freaking people made out of all kinds of stuff in this world of quirks. So they go out to eat. They go they catch something for lunch, and then they generally are having out. And towards the end of the day, Toga's like laughing and everything, and then she looks at Deku, and she's like, "Izu, aren't you having?" And she's like, "Oh, I'm sorry." And Deku was like, "It's fine." Crud, I lost where I have that written down. One moment. I can't find it. I would have to go through some backlogs of chats on my Discord to find it, but for now, this is the name I'm about to say. Well, can change if I'm not remembering it properly. He turns to her, and so back to our story. He turns to her and he says, "It's fine. How about this? In public, you call me Ken. And I'll call you Moya." And Toga smiles like, "Okay." And they begin to walk back to the place, and they start hearing explosions. And Izuku's like, I guess someone's calling the servants. Shall we go and see what it's about? And Toga smiles like, yeah, maybe we'll see something cool there. And Izuku's like, so you haven't seen any quirks that you like? And she's like, yeah, I kind of like the quirks I already have, but who's to say we won't see something there that catches my attention? So they make their way to where all the explosions are. They see a group of people, and then a bunch of pros show up, and they kind of push people back. Izuku and Toga are just looking there. And Izuku says, Toga, well, I should get going. There's a lot of pros here, but I want to watch. And he's like, fine, whatever, let's do that. Let's go over here. And he basically puts his hand on her shoulder when they get out of look and walks them to the top of the buildings. And they're unseen. Like, they're hiding really well. And they're just watching the scene unfold. And they just hear the one of the pros like say, the villain has a hostage and it's a kid, which makes Izuku like start to go down there. But then Toga grabs him and is like, what are you doing? It's the middle of the day, people will recognize you. And then Izuku's like, yeah, you're right, but that thing, it's attacking a child. And then he just sees like another explosion, and then he's like, wait, it can't be. No, he was supposed to become a real hero. Who are you talking about? And then, before Izuku can react and everything, he just hears, God damn it, why can't I do what he did? And a large explosion goes off that doesn't do anything. And this is when Izuku turns to Toga and is like, I'm sorry, I've got to go. I can't let him die here. He's supposed to turn out good. He's changed. I ran into him like a while ago, and he saved someone, and how we interacted with him, he's different from when we were kids. I've gotta go, Toga. I can't, you stay here. I'll pick you up later, but start heading back to the hideout. I'll meet up with you later. I promise I'll come back to you. With that, Izuku, like, she just sees, like, shadows start forming around Izuku. And she's like, crap, I can't stop him. Well, I better do what he says. Otherwise, he'll yell at me. And all this while, our favorite hero who is hurt is just sitting there standing back. It's like, crap, I can't fucking do anything. I'm out of time. I had more time. And before he can react, everyone is in horror. And even the pros are starting to take a step back. Because someone just landed in between the pros and the civilians and the sludge villain. Someone that's very, very, very well known at this point. Someone that the pros have been searching for for years now. And then the sludge villain catches an eye with this. And he turns to the pros, and they kind of gulp. And so do people in the audience. And All Might's like, shit, I've got to. And then the figure lifts up one of his hands in the air, producing a scythe with like a flame scythe. And it speaks in a groggly voice. He's like, I'm not here for you pathetic heroes. But I can't just stand by and watch an innocent child get killed because of your ignorance. And he turns around. And he just starts slowly walking to the sludge villain. And it's like freaking out. And he's like, no, I heard about you. You kill villains and pros alike. What are you doing? Aren't you a villain too? And Ezekiel, he says, Shadow Veil. And the whole area is engulfed in flames. And he just walks up to this thing, cutting it with his scythe, making steam. And Kachan just falls out, looking up at the shadow figure. And he's like, what are you doing here? I've heard the rumors about you. And he turns to Kachan. And he's like, he reaches down, picks him up. And he's like, Kachan. And Katsuki looks at this thing. He's like, wait, what? And it says, I can't explain it. As he pats Katsuki's chest. And he's like, you've been trying to figure out how I did that one thing, right? I can't get here. I can't do this. I can't get caught here. I'm sorry to do this, but just play along and follow the directions. And all of a sudden, on the outside, everyone sees the shadows disappearing, and they heard a loud explosion. And they just see Katsuki standing there, extremely, just breathing, panting. And the sludge villain is all over the place, and they just see the shadow figure saying, crap. And Izuku's playing up, coughing and everything. And he's like, he looks into the crowd, and he's like, huh. So it's true. He was hurt, is what he's thinking. But he's playing, and he's like, kid, I guess I didn't need to interfere. I got caught in that too. Any case, don't turn out like this, or even me, kid. Be something better than me and these pathetic heroes. As Reaper disappears into the void of shadows. Katsuki is pros and stuff run up to Katsuki, and they're asking him a bunch of questions, and All Might overhears what he says. He's like, I'm sorry, I need a break. That really took a lot out of me. I did something I didn't think was possible. I used all of my stamina. In any case, I'm sorry for using my quirk in public, but that guy, he was attacking people, and I couldn't stand by and watch people get hurt. And All Might's thinking, it's like, wow, this kid has a strong quirk. Maybe he can, maybe he's proper. And he's thinking, it's like, yeah, he's definitely worth it. So, All Might will begin to look at this kid. And he's thinking, if he gets into UA, I'll approach him then. So, with that being said, I'm going to end this what if part here. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you beautiful souls in the next video.